Today we'll design a form using Dreamweaver. I've broken the lesson into two parts. As you can see, there are a number of elements that go into this. We'll look at the first four elements in this lesson. We'll set up a username, email address, password, and a text area message. So some behind structure, we'll put an AP div to hold the page and an AP div to hold the table we're going to put in, which will hold the form. So you can see we have an AP div there. So this is AP div 2, and we'll just set it up with a width of 380 and a height of 400. And inside that AP div we're going to insert a form. And it looks like this. You get some red lines. It's actually a box there. And have a form ID, and the method should be set to post. We'll talk about the action in a later part. And we'll insert a table inside the form to give the form some structure. We can set that initially up with 8 rows, 2 columns, table width 100%. And there you have a 2-column table with 8 rows. So for the username, we're going to insert form text field and have an ID we call username and a label username with a colon at the end there. And make sure the attach is set with the for attribute in that panel. Now the email address, we have a certain type called email address, so we must set that. And we also set the ability to validate the email address. And we can cut the label out of the cell and actually paste it in the column to the left. So when we put the username and email address in the table, we put it in the second column, and then what we're doing is we're cutting out the label and pasting it into the first column. You'll notice also the invalid messages. In this case, I've changed it to sorry, try again, and a value is required, so you can set those yourself. Now we're adding a password. ID pass, label password, attach label tag with the for attribute, and in the inspector for this item, make sure it's selected as password. And the preview state for the password is required, so make sure that's selected. And then also have the validate on. And that gives you these messages on the right hand side of the field that you can change as prompts to the user. So we're just cutting out the label and just pasting it in the column to the left. We're doing that in the HTML. So it'll look like this when you're done. So we move between the HTML and the design view when we're working. And we'll add one more field. So insert form text area, and we'll ID this as message with the label as message. And again, the style is attach label tag using for attribute. And you'll notice that also goes into column 2. And what we can do is we can add an initial prompt inside the text area itself. And so in the property inspector for the text area, the initial value can be set to type message here. We've indicated a multi-line text area. So you can see the message in the text area. And once again, we're going to cut out the label going to paste it into the space in the line above in the HTML, which turns out to be the actual column to the left in the design view. And I want to move the word message to the top of that cell. So I select vertical top. You can see now the word message is in the top of the first column in that cell beside the field. And here's what you end up with at the end of our part 1. And what we'll do next is we'll assign some buttons and a submit button. Have a great day.